The Salem witch trials occurred in colonial Massachusetts between 1692 and 1693. 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft, or the devil's magic, and 20 were executed. 300 years later, these stories of witchcraft, injustice, and paranoia have continued to haunt the American imagination. What is it about the Salem witch trials that still captivate the interest of America today? Avery Gordon says in Ghostly Matters, "Being haunted draws us effectively, sometimes against our own will and always a bit magically, into the structure of feeling, meaning that an event perplexes us to the point that we must shape our own version to fit it into our own reality." When the trials began, colonial authorities imposed a publication ban. Governor William Phipps believed that writing about them could lead to the kindling of an inexhaustible flame. Well, although Phipps did not live to see it, the flame became inexhaustible. 20th century artists and scientists alike became fascinated. Hundreds, if not thousands, of novels, poems, and plays have been written about the Salem witch trials, including Arthur Miller's The Crucible, which has been made into films and an opera. Miller's play used the Salem witch trials as an allegory for the persecution of alleged communists. New England Historical Society claims that Amazon.com lists over 600 titles about the Salem witch trials. Not to mention, Salem has been brought up in Harry Potter, as well as several movies and TV series such as Scooby-Doo and Spider-Man. In 1976, psychologist Linda Caporal sought an explanation for the strange happenings and blamed it on the fungus ergot, which can be found in rye, wheat, and other cereal grasses. Ergot-contaminated foods can lead to muscle spasms, vomiting, delusions, and hallucinations. Today, the town of Salem, or the Witch City, attracts Wiccan gatherings, Halloween festivities, and tourists alike. With its many tourist attractions such as the Salem Witch Museum, tourists buy a range of items relating to witch hysteria, including shot glasses, pens, hoodies, etc. As a result of our exposure to media, literature, art, and tourism, the memory of the Salem witch trials has been shaped throughout history. Here are some of the myths that people believe about the Salem witch trials. Convicted witches were burned at the stake. Despite the depictions we often see, convicted witches were hanged, except the one man who was crushed to death by a pile of stones. In some parts of Europe, witches were burned. All convicted witches were women. Convicted witches came in all sorts. This does not deny the misogyny behind the whole process. A Harvard-educated minister was hanged because he was seen as a mastermind capable of evils that were far beyond a woman's capability. Sturgeon said that with memory we must foreground its relationship to desire and its political nature, meaning that if we are haunted enough to dissect our own memory of the Salem witch trials, we will see how the true story has been fabricated by political and religious forces as well as the media throughout history.